Welcome to Weird Energy. Campfire Tales. Episode 1: The Legend of Tahquitz. According to Legend, Tahquitz was the first shaman created by Mukut, the creator of all things. Tahquitz had much power, and in the beginning he used his power for the good of all people. Tahquitz became the guardian spirit of all shamans, and he gave them power to do good. He taught them how to gather food and predict the weather, and could suck illness out of an individual and blow it away. But over time, Tahquitz began to use his power for selfish reasons. He began to use his power to harm the Kauai people. Evil crawled into his heart like a scorpion. He went into the Moreno Hills and practiced black magic until he was so powerful he could fly. He then went back to his people, but hid his insidious thoughts from them. He still acted as their shaman, and he still visited the sick and would kneel over them to heal them. But instead of sucking out the sickness, he would suck out a little bit of the person's essence. People began to notice that illnesses were not being healed and instead being spread throughout the tribe. Also, hunters found dead animals that looked like dried corn husks. The people knew that an evil force was working against the tribe. One day, the creator Mukut made bows and arrows for the people. The people saw the arrows on the ground with their sharp points shining in the sun and refused to touch them. Tahquitz laughed. "Don't be afraid. Arrows can't harm you." "Look." Tahquitz held an arrow in two hands and shoved it into his stomach. He then pulled it out and demonstrated for everyone that he had no wound. He then picked up a second arrow and plunged it into his head. He then laughed and danced to show he felt no pain. Excited, the people picked up the bows and arrows and began shooting them at each other. They thought it was a game. The dust rose as they ran and played, but as the dust settled, many of them lay on the ground. Others tried to wake them up, but couldn't. "You tricked us, Tahquitz!" they shouted. The people became angry and chased him to a canyon that now bears his name. He flew up the waterfall and made his home high in the San Jacinto Mountains in a secret cave below the towering rock known today as Tahquitz Peak or Tahquitz Rock. Tahquitz Rock looks white because he turned the walls of his cave into transparent stone so he can sit in his cave and observe the outside while thinking about his banishment, and can plan more devious ways to cause calamity for the humans below, choosing his next victims. Sometimes he can be seen as a large green fireball streaking across the night sky. The strange rumblings heard deep within the San Jacinto Mountains, the shaking of the ground, and the crashing of boulders are all attributed to Tahquitz as he stomps about the canyon. Tahquitz is always hungry and still feeds on the souls of the living. He enters the heart